traditional method of sourcing domestic energy is an age-long practice. But in today's society, with huge population, sustenance of traditional method of sourcing domestic energy can be detrimental, not just to human life, but the environment. It's on this that we anchor tonight's edition of Weekend File, your weekend companion. Good evening and welcome to the program. Nigeria is one of the many developing nations being confronted by domestic energy crisis. But what is unclear is the relationship between the energy crisis and continuous depletion of Nigeria's forest resources. People are traditionally used to cooking with firewood and other solid fuels such as charcoal, sawdust, and agricultural residues and animal waste. But most widely used is the firewood, and many are ignorant of its consequences. The depletion of the nation's forest resources is mainly done by the rural poor who depend on the forest for their survival. Analysis shows that in the absence of any mitigation efforts, emissions from the forest sector alone will increase atmospheric carbon stock. Both the UN and the FAO warned that Nigeria accounts for the highest deforestation rate of 58.7% in the world's primary forest due to fuel wood harvest without replacement. Yes, it is clear that one of the greatest challenges in Nigeria is energy shortages as a result of poor energy production and supply systems in the country. Also, a large amount of energy resources, including gas, hydroelectricity, wind, and biomass, are not adequately harnessed. Now, the question is, what can be adopted as new alternative energy sources for homes, especially rural homes, as energy costs continue to rise and environmental concerns grow? This is Weekend File. So let's reason together one more time. My name is Kieran Umayo. Thank you for joining us. News is next. The Nigeria Police Force says its advice to the artist Innocent Idibia, popularly called Two-Face, and other groups to shelve their planned protest in Lagos was based on report that other groups are also planning to hold a counter-rally, which might pose a security threat. Force Public Relations Officer, Chief Superintendent of Police, Jimo Mushood, gave this clarification in an exclusive interview with NTA's Edina Justice.
Mr. Jimo, who expressed the police concern over the security implication of protests of such nature, said the police is not against the scheduled protest, saying every citizen has the right to freedom of association. He says the only fear is the information that other groups are planning a counter-protest same day at the same time.
Because of the credible intelligence at the disposal of the force, and that the Two-Face Idibia protest is going to coincide with other interest groups that are protesting against the Two-Face Idibia protest. And the demonstration, if allowed to be held as scheduled, there may be breakdown of law and order with another loss of life. To this end, the Inspector General of Police have directed that Innocent Idibia, aka Two-Face, and his group are hereby advised strongly to shelve their planned peaceful protests and demonstration in the interest of peace and security. And also that the other opposing groups are equally advised strongly to shelve their planned counter-protests and demonstration in the interest of peace and security.
He also advised parents and religious leaders to prevail on their children and members not to be used to cause public disturbance. From the Force Headquarters, Edina Justice, NTA News.
And the chairman, Cattle Ranches Management Committee, Alhaji Shitu Mohammed, has affirmed that herdsmen and cattle rearers will occupy the 1,200 hectares of land donated to them by the Bayelsa state government for cattle grazing on the 10th of February 2017. He made the affirmation during a meeting with chairman of Cattle Dealers and Farmers Association and Livestock Sellers and Butchers Associations held in Yenagoa. Bright Ebocho completes the story.
The 14-man committee headed by Alhaji Shitu Mohammed said modalities have been put in place to ensure compliance.
We have made every facility available, and we want to have harmonious relationship between these people, and we have been able to come into times that all of us, the butchers, the rearers, the dealers, will take their cow back to the place.
To make we join together the work and for the farm, the cow ranch, both place and Excellency.
And we appreciate the governor of the Excellency for bringing us to the committee that give us a large place that will keep our cow in Bayelsa State.
The 1,200 hectares of land donated by the Bayelsa State government for the grazing of cattle, stakeholders say, will go a long way to curb the frequent clashes between Fulani herdsmen and farmers across the country. In Yenegua, Bright Ibuchu, NTA News.
The United Nations High Commission for Refugees has flagged off the distribution of construction materials to returnees in Yobe State. The ceremony, which took place at the two worst-hit council areas of Hijab and Golani, is aimed at fast-tracking the reconstruction of the communities before the rainy season sets in. Husseini Mohammed Issa reports.
After about 8 months since the reopening of the two local governments of Gujba and Gulani, which were hitherto occupied by Boko Haram terrorists, the returnees of the various communities are now in need of reconstructing their destroyed homes for comfortable living. This prompted the government at all levels and other developmental and humanitarian agencies to shift attention from food assistance to reconstruction agenda of the destroyed communities. In an effort to complement the actualization of this agenda, the United Nations High Commission on Refugees flagged off the distribution of shelter repair kits to about 300 households of Gujuba local government. According to the representative of the UNHCR, Hansen Gandhi Tamfu, and Yobe State Field Officer of UNHCR, Mr. Gabriel Idoku, the distribution of the items is aimed at supporting the returnees reconstruct their homes before the 2017 rainy season.
We are part of the larger UN family, and on behalf of the UN agency, this day and in this place at this hour, we want to actually express our feelings, deep feelings for what has happened in this environment.
I can assure you all, sir, that this is only the very beginning. There's going to be many more.
A representative of the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, Mr. Adebanjo Adebolagun, said the donation became compulsory considering the status of Nigeria in the United Nations Assembly. At Kukwa village of Gulani local government, 200 households benefited from the shelter kit courtesy of the UNHCR, which are also meant to assist them in rebuilding their destroyed homes. In Damaturu, Hussein Mohammed Issa, NTA News.
The need for a national architecture for interfaith harmony platform to build an interreligious nation has been emphasized. This was in an address by Executive Director, Universal Peace Foundation International Affairs, George Ibot, to mark the United Nations World Interfaith Harmony Week 2017 conference. Lydia Bassey was there.
A comparison among religions with a view to establishing superiority of one over the other is neither desirable nor profitable.
Dr. Ikpot stressed that interfaith unity, harmony, and interreligious cooperation is capable of guiding all faiths towards achieving a common national purpose based on a common national interest in order to enhance national peace and development. The conference participants were unified in their views for the achievement of a true interfaith unification for genuine national peace as a people of one nation.
The devil is not the greatest enemy of man, but ignorance. If you are created by God, your duty is also to worship God in your own way.
Peace and well-being are the result of humanity's recognition of God's supremacy.
The conference, organized in collaboration with United Religious Initiative, URI, had representations from Hare Krishna, Baha'i, Christianity, Islam, Unitarianism, and Ekankar. In Abuja, Lydia Bassi, NTA News.
Now, the need for a, we've taken that story, the North Central edition of the federal government town hall meeting is to hold on Monday, February 6, 2017. A statement signed by the Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Information and Culture, Ayo Adesiwa, indicates that the event will start at 10 o'clock in the morning at the banquet hall opposite Government House, Ilori, Kwara State. The statement advises all invited guests to be seated by 9:45. The Osun State Elementary School feeding and health program is impacting positively on the education in the state. This is because enrollment in primary or elementary schools has increased. In this report, correspondent Tunji Adeboju reports.
The main focus of the Osun Elementary School Feeding and Health Program, also known as whole meal, is to reduce malnutrition in pupils, encourage improved school enrollment and retention, as well as promote healthy living among public school pupils. It is designed in such a way that government provides free meals and health care for well over 155,000 elementary school pupils in primaries 1 to 4.
You repackage the same homegrown school feeding and health program in such a way that is beneficial to the children, parents, to the state.
The well-structured program with enormous capital outlay involves caterers, the school teachers who also double as quality control agents, and the beneficiaries, the school pupils.
Tuesday, rice and beans with chicken. Rice and beans and chicken.
Government is really trying. They are trying very well because the food is very rich and they are eating balanced diets.
It is noteworthy that the federal government has since adopted the Osun School Feeding Program, while some other state governments have keyed into it. From Osogbo, Tunji Adepoju, NTA News.
Medical practitioners have advocated easy access to health care services for all Nigerians and attitudinal change by health care givers. This, they say, will go a long way in the fight against some deadly diseases, especially cancer, posing serious threat to mankind. They were speaking at a forum for newsmen in commemoration of the 2017 World Cancer Day in Lagos. Joy Ken Ababoya reports.
4th every year is set aside as World Cancer Day to create awareness on the disease and promote ways to ease the global burden. Statistics show that the malignant tumor is now responsible for 1 in 6 deaths globally. This is despite progress made in finding treatment and improving care.
Cancer can be prevented. Most cancers can be prevented. Most cancers can be treated if they are picked up early and be cured.
Experts at this forum identified unhealthy lifestyle such as smoking, excessive alcohol intake and obesity as risk factors. They say improving early diagnosis strategies and providing accessible cancer centers are ways to reduce mortality rates from cancer.
Diesel fume and all these generator fume, they are all cause of cancer. So if we can reduce the environmental pollution, we can reduce alcohol intake, we can be sexually disciplined for those cancers that are related to sexually transmitted infections like hepatitis, human papilloma virus. If you can do your own bit, and then if you can carry out routine screening.
They also called on the media to step up enlightenment campaigns on the disease, as awareness is critical to winning the war against the deadly disease. The 2017 World Cancer Day is tagged We Can, I Can. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abapoya, NTA News.
Wife of the former Vice President Ajia Amina Namadi Sambo has enjoined Muslim women to uphold the Quranic injunction of promoting decency and virtues using the hijab. She said this at the 2017 World Hijab Day lecture organized by the Coalition of Nigerian Muslim Women in Abuja. Ablahi Ajia reports that the theme for the event is Stand for Her Right, I Stand for Hijab.
A gathering of Muslim women to propagate their religion focusing on the injunction of the hijab as recommended for all Muslim women by Allah. Wife of the former Vice President Hajia Amina Namadi Sambo said they must be confident and proud of using the hijab as an identity and a religious obligation, no matter the harsh reality of the social environment.
We are commanded as Muslim women to always wear our hijab wherever we are. It is a way to show her modesty, her simplicity.
Guest lecturer Aisha Umar Yusuf emphasized that the hijab represents modesty, respect and obedience to Allah, which the women must remain steadfast in propagating, urging them to be exemplary to their children.
An appeal to the men who are opposed to hijab for them to accept that we are only adhering to a commandment from Allah.
We are the Human Rights Commission, where clearly they stated that it is our fundamental human right. There is freedom of religion, which hijab is part of it.
The occasion was also used to sensitize women on breast cancer and the need to take proactive steps such as early detection and diagnosis. In Abuja, Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
The Australian government is poised to explore new areas of cooperation with Nigeria in furtherance of the Australia-Nigeria bilateral relations. The Australian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Paul Leman, gave the indication during the 2017 Australia Day celebration in Abuja. Victor Azo reports.
It is the Australian National Day, all right, but the sound of the Nigerian national anthem and then the Australian speaks volumes of the cordial diplomatic relations between the two countries. Diplomats, friends and citizens of both countries gathered in Abuja not only to celebrate the rich history of Australia, but also to reflect on the achievements of the country and its citizens. The Australian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Paul Leman, added that the day also celebrates the deepening relations between Australia and Nigeria.
The nature of that trade relationship improving, not just the numbers, but also the mix of goods and services involved in that. So looking at where we can grow, as I said, trade in services, but also in manufacturing, contributing to the development of the agricultural productivity in Nigeria and in Australia.
The event was also an opportunity to reflect on the wide range of activities that have brought Australia and Nigeria even closer. In Abuja, Victor Azu.
This is Weekend File on the network service of the NTA. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Now, to the business of today. It has been reported that coal-fired power plants provide 41% of global electricity. And Nigeria is again looking that way in spite of global challenges and the view of some developed countries about emission. A memorandum of understanding was signed in 2015 between the federal government and its Minister of Power and Millhouse Engineering and Construction to generate energy from coal in the next 5 years. Coal could also be used for cooking as alternative to firewood. Recent scarcity of kerosene and high cost of cooking gas has caused more logging, exposing the country to increased deforestation. Stay with us as we take a closer look at the sourcing of domestic energy on Weekend File. I'll be right back.
This is a happy moment for me and for all Nigerians.
Amina Ali Nkeke, the first Chibok school girl to be rescued in the renewed onslaught against the Boko Haram insurgency.
Amina's rescue gives us new hope.
Federal government has formally received the 21 abducted Chibok girls.
These dear daughters of ours have seen the worst that the world has to offer. It is now time for them to experience the best that the world can do for them. Government will sustain the effort until all the remaining girls return safely.
M6 challenge. Using your new Gioni M6, carry out everything on that list. Starting now.
Gioni M6 with a 5,000 milliampere battery that lets you go on for 2 days on a single charge.
Gioni M6, always in power.
The federal government's social investment program has begun. The poorest and most vulnerable in the land get 5,000 naira monthly, and phase 1 has started in 9 states of the federation. 200,000 unemployed graduates have been engaged in the N-Power Volunteer Corps, designed to engage 500,000 people. 5.5 million children will be fed regularly in the homegrown school feeding program, which kicked off in 3 states last year, with 9 more to be added this year. And under the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, GEEP, thousands of cooperatives, market women, farmers and enterprising youth have been receiving between 10,000 and 100,000 naira soft loans since November 2016. The Social Investment Program has begun. It can only get better. We promise change. Change is here.
Do you crave class? Do you have taste? And do you care about comforts? If you do, then for your next event, a stay away from home, a business trip, or a holiday, visit Jade's Hotel at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. Check out our world-class services, exquisite suites, restaurant and bar, gymnasium, spa and grills, and our outdoor catering services and cuisines. At Jade's, it can only be better. For bookings and reservations, visit us today at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja, or visit www.jadeshotels.com. Our email address is info@jadeshotels.com. You can also call us on 09291-9321 or 0810-909-7956. Jade's Hotels, welcome to life.
The Future Assured project and its components, Get Involved, initiated by the wife of the President, Her Excellency Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, is not relenting in championing the cause of Nigerian women and children. Its provision of free medical screening, educational support, and the fight against malnutrition, especially in the Northeast, has indeed informed international recognition, partnerships, and awards.
We are very grateful and appreciative for your wonderful gesture you have accorded to us.
With Future Assured, Nigerian women and children are assured of a bright future.
Future is assured when we join hands to promote the health of our women and children. Get involved.
Get involved and support the Future Assured initiative. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children.
Thank you for remaining with us on Weekend File. Now, coal resource is just becoming one of the most sought-after resources at the international energy market. And Nigeria is enormously endowed with this resource. And apart from being a major source of energy, emerging developments reveal that coal can also be used for household cooking through a smokeless stove fabricated in Nigeria. So the assignment before our lead correspondent, Mia Ogidi, is to unravel the untapped benefits in the coal industry in Nigeria and the way forward.
Nigerian Ministry of Solid Minerals Development put the nation's coal reserve at an estimated 2.8 billion metric tons. When utilized, over 47% of the nation's power needs can be taken care of, with Enugu State having the best brand of coal. Even with this gift of nature, not much has been made to generate power from it. But what one can point to is only signing of memoranda of understanding, whereas 6 major countries in the world are getting the best of this resource in their energy mix drive.
Who believing that we are going to get concession on on the Onyama and Okpara coal mine to develop the coal plant, the coal-fired plant. And we were ready to set out, we were ready to develop up to a 5,000 megawatts, coal to power in Nigeria. Coal is there not just only in the southeast. They have coal here and there. They just don't need to do selective inquiries to see the companies that have the capabilities to develop coal to power.
While that is still in the offing, some private individuals have come up with another technology, that is the fabrication of smokeless coal stoves for domestic use to discourage the use of firewood. However, the World Health Organization and the Nigerian government, through the Ministry of Environment, are somewhat skeptical on this innovation, with the fear that if the coal is not well processed, carcinogenic emissions and toxic elements are not destroyed by combustion.
Well, both coal and firewood are dangerous to the health of women and children, especially because they are the ones at the end of it. We held a stakeholders meeting recently so that we could actually look to see what can we do about standardizing the quality of cooking stoves for our women, that they are not only practical but also efficient.
However, the Technical College Malali in Kaduna State is busy with the mass fabrication of smokeless coal stoves, and those in charge will clear all perceived fears in the use of these stoves, as there is need to reduce the use of firewood, which will promote afforestation. Mayor Ogede, NTA News.
Thank you, Mayor. And from Enugu, Amaka Owo reports that legal authorities in Enugu say they look forward to joint partnership with the federal government and other interested investors in coal utilization.
The discovery of coal by the British geologist Albert Kingston in Enugu dates back to 1909. Between 1916 and 1970, coal production contributed immensely to the nation's economy. This led to the establishment of Coal Corporation in 1960 for industrial purposes. With the discovery of petroleum, coal activities dwindled to a stage of comatose in 2002. Due to the daunting challenges facing electricity generation, the clamor for the revitalization of coal industry as an alternative source of electricity was adopted in 2014 with the signing of a memorandum of understanding for the construction of Ezimo coal plants between Nigeria and China to address the epileptic power situation.
Since I assumed office, nobody has come to me to tell me that they signed the MOU and that they want to continue where they stopped. This regime has not stopped anybody or has asked anybody to revalidate or do anything or the other. In
a related development, a professor of urban planning and environment, Professor Harold Mba, advocated the need for government not to only put into consideration industrial needs, but also environmental hazards.
Anything that will create the imbalance of ozone layer, create ozone layer depletion, imbalance of the air, then it's dangerous.
With the absence of coal briquettes for cooking, some Enugu residents have resorted to the use of charcoal.
These equipments have not been put into use due to lack of funding. It is expected that the relevant authorities look into this to ensure that these equipments are harnessed so that coal briquettes will be made readily available for the common man. From the Project Development Institute in Enugu, Amaka Owo reporting for Weekend File.
And from Amba, Kogi State, Jacob San reports that the abundant coal resource in Okaba and other parts of the state are yearning for exploration.
Kogi State is endowed with abundant solid minerals with large deposits in places such as Okaba, Okobo, Odagbo, and Imani in Ankpa local government area, as well as Odo-Okpakili, the Kina local government.
If they are to carry out scientifically proof, drill, exploration in details, I think in Kogi State here, with the occurrences that I know, if they are proven, we may be looking to maybe half of 1 billion metric tons.
Already, mining is going on in some sites by private firms, while more swarms are yet to be discovered. Experts say coal is more reliable and less hazardous as a power source for both industrial and domestic purposes.
Coal is chiefly used for its energy content. It's a solid fuel, and it's used in so many companies or industries that use kiln to actually power the kiln.
The host communities have found coal as safer and cheaper alternative for cooking instead of firewood.
We are using it to cook our food, to do other things. That's what we can do.
Now that we have issues with LPFO, gas and all the rest, I think coal is a better alternative.
In the face of the dwindling oil price and the need to improve on the sources of power generation, it is expected that relevant authorities will look inward and explore coal as a viable option. Jacob Sani, NTA Weekend File.
And Abubakar Adamu has a situation report in Gombe.
Kerosene and gas as sources of energy are to some extent unaffordable to many residents in Gombe State because of their increasing cost. From 180 naira per litre, kerosene is now sold at over 250 naira where it is available, with a corresponding increase in the prices of cooking gas. As an alternative, many have resorted to using firewood, which is more affordable, just as environmentalists intensify campaigns against indiscriminate felling of trees.
The unfortunate thing is that the trees are cut unsustainably, and as they do that, it causes serious impacts on the environment, such as exposing this environment, exposing the soil to erosion.
While the people scout for a cheaper source of energy for their daily use, Gombe remains one of the states blazed with high deposit of coal, a good alternative source of energy. Coal exploration has been going on for over 10 years now at the Meganga village of Aka local government area, providing source of energy to power the Ashaka Cement Company. Two things remain clear. Many of the people are not aware that the coal deposit in their backyards is one of the best and cheaper source of energy, and even if they are, they may not have access to it, not to talk of refining it before usage, as using it directly can be harmful.
Coal cannot be used directly for cooking because of the hazardous substances that are found in coal. It can emit carbon dioxide, it can emit sulfur dioxide, which are not good for human.
For coal to be a good alternative, it must be available, and then it must be accessible.
No government official could speak to Weekend File on camera at the State Ministry of Science and Mineral Resources, but a reliable source said the ministry is considering making coal an alternative energy source for people in the state. In Gombe, Abubakar Adamu reporting for Weekend File.
And we thank you for staying with us up to this moment on the program. An environmentalist, Dr. Kabil Abdulkadir Yamama, will be joining me very shortly. Don't go away.
From day one, Globe makes life easier. They brought us per second billing, unbelievable data packages, and even an optic fiber cable to make sure we optimize. There are two things in our lives we depend on: the communication and information, voice and data. Whether you sell, buy, learn, teach, serve, or lead, it really comes down to those two things: voice or data. Today's world is all about you. You want what you want, how you want it, and Glow delivers. That's why Glow is introducing Flexi, the freedom to use voice and data the way you like on every recharge. No plan, no hassle, easy.
Now on every recharge, Glow Flexi gives you the freedom to use voice and data as you like. Another first from Glow. No bundles, no data plans, no hassles.
The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data. This is not just a pitch. This is not just another kid. This is where I found my inspiration. This is where I learned I can stand on my own. but that together we can fly. This is the school of life. This is where champions are made.
Nestle, good food, good life.
Coca-Cola?
Oh, it's happy hour. So, you want a free Coca-Cola, but you have to drink it here.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Welcome back. Dr. Kabil Abdulkadir Emama is the founder and national coordinator of Green Shields of Nations, an environmental non-governmental organization on rural energy and development. He has joined me now for a conversation on the program. You're welcome to Weekend File. All right. You are a United Nations environmental program consultant on rural energy in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Now, what is the situation of rural energy sourcing in Nigeria?
No, we are so blessed. Nigeria is so blessed with so many mix of energy sources, both renewable and non-renewable. As we are talking about coal, coal is a renewable energy. It's a hydrocarbon. So hydrocarbon, they exist in nature in three forms. Liquid form, we call it crude oil. Semi-liquid form, we call it bitumen. Rock, the hard one, is coal. So coal has been, in fact, the engine room of industrial revolution for a long time. If you remember, before the advent of crude oil in 1956, it was coal who was driving Nigerian economy. It moves our train, generates electricity to Nigeria through ECN. So coal is a very efficient energy. So we can use it in many forms. And luckily enough, the Nigerian coal is just like our crude oil. It's a prime coal. It could get less emission, especially of sulfur. It's less than 1%. That's why it's sought over the world. Now, in Nigeria, we've got over 3 billion tons of coal under the ground, spread in 13 states of Nigeria. You see? So you find coal, we can use it at this present stage for over 200 years. We can use it to generate our electricity in our energy in the rural areas. We can use it to generate electricity. We can use it also.
But let me ask you. Let me ask you. How clean is energy from coal? How clean is that? Because we were talking about the emissions. We were talking about deforestation as a result of lack of other sources of energy for rural communities. Right. So we're interested in what can be done. First of all, let's take on why coal? How clean is coal?
Clean is just like crude oil. It has been under the ground for millions of years.
With less emission?
Therefore, that's emission. Just like crude oil, that's emission. But in coal now, we can remove the emission through carbonization. If you carbonize the coal, that is, if you heat the coal, and then you can remove the emission, especially if it's trapped. That's what we did in Enugu. The coal of Enugu, we carbonize it and we briquette it.
So
that makes it smokeless.
Yes. From all indications now, from the reports that we watched, as also pointed out, we have coal deposits almost across the nation.
Yeah.
Right. And but they are not being explored to the level where it can begin to make input or impact on the energy sources in Nigeria. So what can be done?
No, what can be, what this government has started. If you look at our report now, there is, in fact, top of mining electricity generation. It's one of the cheapest. Top of mining generation of electricity through coal. You see? We can generate electricity. In fact, most of the electricity in China is from coal. So when you look at countries also like Australia, like South Africa, even Britain, they are still using coal. You see? Now, it generates a lot of energy. Like, for example, when you are talking about rural energy for cooking, coal is twice hotter than charcoal, 4 times hotter than firewood. So under the government substitution program of firewood, we start with coal, because coal is something that Nigerians, they know it for a long, long time. They know what is coal. And then you find that coal is safer for them because it will not ignite. You know, you can put them under the rain, nothing happened to it. You know, then by the time you carbonize it, you remove the emission you are talking about. That is nitrogen, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and the sulfur. You get a smokeless coal.
Now, from all indications, you know, coal is not being explored as much as you would want it to be for many Nigerians to have access to that for their domestic energy use, especially cooking. Now, from the reports we saw in Gombe, I saw a huge firewood harvesting taking place there. And of course, it does mean that there should be deforestation in the areas where they could get all that huge amount of firewood that we saw in that report. Now, you started a program in Kaduna that has to do with the fabrication of stove, right, smokeless stove. Tell us about that.
No, what happened was that after my organization and NCC, Nigerian Coal Corporation in Enugu, came together to come with the technology of smokeless coal, I took sample to Kano, and I made the governor of Kano. I said, now look, this is coal, but we have now taken off all the emission. It's smokeless coal. If I ignite it here, you will not know, because you will not see smoke. So he was interested. So he asked me to address the 44 local governments of Kano. They were very elated, said they decided that it's a local government will give me 125,000 so that I can bring them 50 briquettes and also 50 stoves. You see? So when I got this money, I said, no, if I go and buy and supply, it means I am a businessman. You get it? And I'm an NGO. So let me add value to this. That's how I came to the technical school in Malali. I said, can you produce this stove? They said, yes. I said, okay, produce one, so that if it's approved by my board of trustees, then I would ask you to produce more.
And that's what happened.
So they produce 1,000. You get that? That's what happened. I gave them, I said, but with one condition. I am going and bring the artisan so that you can teach them, you can train them how to produce this one. It was agreed. I brought artisan about a week or so. They know how to do it. So I said, okay, you, let me take you to our head office, and I bring people from outside who have never known anything like fabrication. You teach them. And that's how we did it. So with that one, I was able to train 200, artisans in the art of fabrication.
Then how do they source the decarbonized coal you're talking about? How do they source that? Because if you fabricate the stove, you don't have the energy you need to fire up the stove. How does it work?
We started with the energy. We first did the energy before we start talking about the stove. Yes, we have got it. We have got it in Kaduna. Before we took it up to Ghana during the trade fair, within second day, it's finished. You see, so it is very important because you see, an alternative source of energy to the people in the rural areas had to be very simple, had to be something that they can easily use. Then it had to be something that is very cheap. You have to make it very available to them. You get
yes,
it?
because access to coal you're talking about is what I think is part of the issues we have in the rural areas.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you this question. Can you differentiate between coal for cooking and coal briquettes?
No. Coal, you see, it's from the core you get the briquettes. Briquettes is only a form. You can make it in a block form. You can make it like a stick. You can make it in any form. But what is important, to carbonize that core so that you make it smokeless. So by the time you carbonize it, then you can break it in any form you want, so that it be easier for people to use,
But as an environmentalist, who is so keen on ensuring that the environment is protected.
Yeah.
Now, what would be your advice to government with respect to the issue of, coal? We have it in abundance, but they are not being explored to a level where Nigerians will make adequate use of it. So, what would be your advice to government?
Well, my advice to the government is that please, we should use all the mix, all our mix, whether it's hydrocarbon, whether it is renewable energy, we are supposed to mix them all. We use it. You get the point. Even when Mr. President went to Enugu, he told them, this abundance of coal we are having in all the states, certain states, we are going to utilize it, So, but the problem is that you have to walk the talk. You get the point? You have to invest into this. We have, look at the man who was telling you, Zuma. Zuma, I know him, we finished from Soviet Union with him. He came with all this zest. He's a pioneer. He needs help. What about us? We are pioneers. Could you believe? When we did the first one, and it was uploaded by the then Mr. President, Obasanjo, you get the point? He doled out 126 million. Please go and make a mega one. You get the point? There's a time when they put it to Ministry of Solid Minerals. Then before it reached there, the money started to filter away. You get the point? Then again, the sitting president now, during the time of PTF, he gave us over 500 million to go and build a mega coal carbonization and briquetting plant of 100,000 metric tons. But we are not able to access the money before the civil war.
Yes, all right.
Exactly.
At this point, I'd like to thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate your time so much.
Thank you.
I have been speaking with Dr. Kabir Abdulkadir Yamama, the founder of the National Coordinator Green Shield of Nations on environmental non-governmental organization on rural energy and development. He is also the UNEP consultant for rural energy in Nigeria. Thank you one more time for coming. We'll now pause one more time. I'll be right back.
The production, distribution, and sale of counterfeit Drugs is a corrupt practice and a crime against humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
It was obvious when a shining star dimmed that a great icon had departed Earth. Barrister Oluwole Amusa Ogundona. Dad, a year has passed already, but just like yesterday, your physical absence is deeply felt. Your legacy of wisdom, integrity, dedication, and commitment to the service of mankind will go on forever. We miss you beyond measure, our treasure of inestimable value. Continue to rest peacefully in the bosom of the Lord till we meet to part no more. Fondly remembered by wife, children, grandchildren, and in-laws.
I can see such brighter days.
The national beach volleyball teams intensified training ahead of the 2017 Africa Cup of qualifiers in Togo, as Egypt and Cameroon set to meet in the final of the 2017 African Cup of Nations in Gabon. Kene Imabodike